You're listening to Two C's in a Pod, the pirate radio station.
96.7 on your dial.
Beep, 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 beep.
All other radio is obsolete. Listen to traffic, weather, sports, 2 C's in a Pod.
Back on our podcast episodes.
Ooh.
And I was noticing that because my dad contacted me, he's like, "What's the name of your podcast?" I'm like, "I'm not letting you listen to my podcast."
Oh no?
Because I just looked at all the names of our episodes.
Have you never?
And
You've
I'm
never
like,
seen the names of our episodes?
I've noticed them, but I've just never put them all together. They're all so blue. I'm fucking Chris's brother. Dominate your subs at Chubway. My baby. Cam's birthday party live. Cum pants piss boy. Wrist Persian coke parties. Like, what are we doing here? We're really trying to attract a very specific audience.
I don't know. You know, the more that I think about episode titles, the more I think to myself, the episode titles are simply things we said during the show.
That's a good point.
So
yeah.
I guess the onus could be on us to change the content of the show.
No, it couldn't be that. It couldn't be that. I think it's something else.
I do think
Would you let
too.
your dad listen to the show?
I would, and no, they wouldn't get it. I've explained podcasts to my family before. Yeah. Nobody under 40 gets it or understands kind of what's going on. They think it's radio. They think it's like weekly radio, which is
it's pirate radio
without music in the middle, between. But
obviously, there's the same amount of ads as radio because we're just so rich and famous with all our ad money.
This episode of Two Seasons Pod is it's brought to you by Cuban Cigars. Cuban Cigars, give me one just like my great pal Briar did. Cuban Cigars. Get one while they still last. The ones that you got a cigar over there?
Yeah, my buddy brought them over for my birthday party.
Let's both smoke some.
Let's do it.
Let's both start the episode of the podcast with a big old cigar,
yeah.
folks. I've got here.
What do you got?
Guantanamera.
Oh, I got a Bandy.
Oh, it smells. It smells of rich tobacco. Welcome to Cigar Talk here.
Cigar
on
Talk.
Two
A
Season
couple
of
of
Pod.
guys.
So in association, this episode sponsored by Cigar Aficionado. Get your copy at local newsstands or newsstands abroad.
Everywhere.
Not necessarily local.
Wherever you're going. Check out the E magazine as well.
The E-zine.
The E-zine. Yeah, I imagine magazines are maybe struggling a little bit these days.
I know. I you know what, Cam? I couldn't tell you. I haven't read one in years.
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
You're listening to Two Seasons a Pod. Cam, when was the low? I used to have magazine subscriptions to things like Sports Illustrated and probably Skateboarder Monthly. Things that the interests of a young boy at one point.
Right. I mean, I get magazines from Shannon's dad who gives them to me, which are cycling magazines, and I rip through them and I'm like, I just look for content that I'm interested in, and then I realize that content that I'm interested in, I just seek it out myself.
Yep, that's a good point. Magazines have fallen by the wayside thanks to Twitter. Twitter, the thing that you can look at and click on. Twitter.
Top 5 social medias for sure.
I'd even go as far as call it top 10. Cam, you're listening to Two Seasons a Pod here. Magazines make the world go around. Cam, how was your week?
Week was pretty interesting. I got some great stories from it.
You always do, because this is Two Seasons a Pod.
And that's what I do. I always write down my stories during the week. So I go, I think Cam would love to hear this one.
Now, Cam, are you writing these things down as they happen to you? Like, you can feel a good story coming because somebody will ask you to go somewhere or do something, and you're like, wait, this is going to be a good story. You pull out your little yellow notepad from your jacket pocket, like you're a detective.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of time that's how it starts.
That's what I picture.
They start telling me a thing. They think I'm taking down notes on like what they want me to do, but I'm like, no. I'm just getting content here. This is my podcast ideas. This is my
getting content.
I have like 20 lists of top 5s, but they're like only 3 in each one. So I just
really?
Never finish
you have
them,
a bunch. You're sitting on the Cam. You really got to push through for those last 2 because we here at Two Seasons a Pod love segments.
We do love segments.
We do love segments, and boy, we're hoping we can think of another one because we should.
Cam's injury report kind of fell by the wayside ever since I got healthy.
Well, Cam, you got healthy, and unfortunately for the show, that segment relied on you being hurt. So I really can't say which one am I glad you're not hurting anymore, or am I upset that the segment is gone?
Yeah, I mean, I hear it all the time from fans. They go, "How you feeling? Are you feeling good? We want to make sure you're hurt." Some people try and throw leg kicks at me.
They're banking on the segment.
Yeah, they're loving it. I did have an interesting one that happened just yesterday. So I met a friend in Toronto for lunch, and after that I went to his apartment. I taught him how to drive standard on his car, or on my car, and then I said, "Hey, you see a toilet anywhere?" He's like, "Just come back to my apartment. I'll let you poop in my place." I didn't want to poop in his place. I don't like pooping in someone's place, but I had an hour and a half drive back home, and there's not really a place to go for quite a while.
Nope.
So he was generous enough. I said I really did appreciate that. And I parked outside, and I'm like, fuck. It's no parking. But I was only going to be up there for one quick poop, in, out, boom. Right? So I go up there, take the poop, all's normal. I go back downstairs. As I'm walking out the door, parking officer coming to my thing, looking at his screen, about to press a button. What's the move?
Oh, what's the move, Cam?
What's the move?
Run in and you run up to the officer and scare him away. No, he's used to the classic begging. He's used to, I was just upstairs taking a shit. Cam, if you had been honest with this man, you know how many times this man or woman has probably heard, "I was just taking a shit"? Probably more than we would actually think. Cam, I think the correct answer you should have done, get down on all fours and start barking towards him. I think something like that could scare the man away from even giving you the ticket, and unbeknownst to him, you could jump in the car and drive off.
That'd be an idea.
There's an idea for you. Strip naked before you get down on all fours.
That's how you get a ticket. Or one way you could do it is you jump in front of your license plate and you go, "You can't see anything. I'm John Cena."
That's a good... Well, I mean, there's an argument there that since John Cena himself cannot be seen, the parking official could just be looking through you and then very clearly see your license plate.
Yeah,
that could be said.
That one's off then. What if I did what I did and I just said, "No, sir, please, I'm just leaving right now. Is it okay?" And he just looked at me and he went, "Meh." And then just waved his hand at me, and then he walked away, and I was like, "Wow, that was the closest."
You got let off, Cam.
I got let off.
The beta move, which is a surprising one from you, especially. Can we hear that tone again? Can we replay that clip?
No, please.
Cam, I would love it if we had a recording of the actual event taking place. I hope one day we can get actual recordings of some of these things happening to you so we can get some true accounts because, you know what, sometimes, folks at home, sometimes pleading is the way to go.
Sometimes. This time it definitely helped.
Who knew?
Have you ever gotten out of a ticket?
I've never gotten a ticket.
You've never gotten any wrong with the law or anything where they've given you a ticket?
Well, that's a parking ticket. That's a bit different.
You've never got a parking ticket in your life?
I've gotten a parking ticket, but I wasn't there when the official was giving me the ticket, so what I would have done move wasn't even there. No, I California rolled through a stop sign one time when I was 18, and a cop pulled me over, and they were kind of like, you have a good record. It was a little bit slippery. He was like, just make sure you come to a full stop next time. But that was when I was very young, and hasn't happened since.
Yeah, I'm bound to get one of those. I'm so bad for California rules.
Because
it's a standard car.
Yeah, it's nice to keep that vehicle rolling.
Well, you don't have to go back into first. You just want to keep it in a second. Or sometimes just not even stop at all because you're in a rush.
You know what? I don't know the feeling or what you're saying exactly, but I agree. I'm Cameron Osborne. You're listening to 2 Season of Pod.
In case you changed the channel and came back in.
With Cam Leclerc.
Because, like we said, this is a podcast that is actually just a pirate radio station.
It's almost as if you're listening to radio and tuning in and out as you go. It could very well happen. There's a lot of distractions, if you're listening and you have to take your headphone out because someone's asking you directions.
Right.
Like one of those type of things. And
have you ever had it?
Of course, that happens all the time.
No, a very specific one.
Okay,
Were you in
you're
Toronto?
gonna ask me a very specific question.
But it's the one that you've definitely had. Maybe. Have you ever had someone come up to you and ask you where the CN Tower is?
Well, probably not in as many words. I don't know. Probably not. No.
Oh, I think it's such a dumb question. Because you're just like, I don't know, let me look around the sky.
Yep, it would be a dumb question.
I've had someone
I'm
ask me
sure
before.
I've probably gotten asked, how do I get to the CN Tower? Because that
Which
answer
is the same
diff-
question, though.
Not really, because let's say
Follow it in
you're,
the
you're
sky.
in a city. You're in a city, depending on where you're standing, right? Like, you're on the top of Bathurst. What's the best way to get to the CN Tower? You're in Kensington. You're taking a different line to get to the CN Tower. Like,
Oh, I guess if you're far
and then
away.
once you
yeah.
get there, you have to walk there. It's not like the subway just lets you up and you're in that little square. You can choose to take the skywalk through Union if you want to get to that little three-way thing, or you can kind of go around by the convention center. Like there's as a wise man once said, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I've gotten through about 990. We're hoping these last 10 are gonna prove me wrong.
I like your mentality.
You like my mentality. My name's Cameron Osborne. I'm here with Cam Leclerc. You're listening to two seasons of pod.
It sounds like we're interviewing someone for a sports radio show.
That would be fun. That would be fun, Cam, if you and I were color commentators.
For what sport? Cricket.
What? Yeah, we neither one of us know cricket. For some reason, I was drawn to curling, though. I saw some. I was catching some curling on the television the other day, and that is truly a sport I know nothing about. And I think
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. My only concern would be you and I would be too loud doing commentary.
I think we do good at golf.
That again, if there's ever a time that too loud would be a problem, it would be.
I think that's the best part.
It would be golf.
Go! Get in the hole! Get in the hole!
Go in the hole, in the hole, in the hole.
They like that.
That would be fun. I would love it if you and I could find ourselves around a rec curling team or a once a week cricket pitch. And do some commentary, Cam. If you and I ever live in the same city again, let's make that a goal.
Let's make it a priority.
Let's make it a priority, because who knows what good could come from it.
Speaking of sports, got myself on a baseball team.
Got yourself on a
softball team.
Are we talking fast pitch? Hard ball?
Lob pitch, the one that comes in from the opposite team and they have to hit the board.
Are you in the same beer league as my 275-pound father?
Yes, and he's the light one.
And he's one of the smaller guys, because although for cresting around 410, you have more size than a lot of them. You're hitting dingers though, probably, right?
Oh,
because your strike zone is so much lower.
That's right. So much lower, and also I am just never ever running to first. So I mean, if I'm getting a hit, I don't care if I'm getting even close to making a run. I'm not running.
You're Barry Bondsing it, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game plan. So I'm pretty stoked for that. I haven't played softball in a long time, so I think
is this an intergender sport squad?
Yeah, it's a mixed gender, fluid gender sport. Literally anyone's allowed to come play.
As long as you meet a certain age requirement and pay the fee, you're allowed.
I don't even think it has anything to do with age. I think we'd probably let like a 10-year-old come play or a 100-year-old.
Maybe that's why you should go down to like the the elementary schools, where the kids are playing baseball, and like get a ringer. What's stopping you from finding this like 13-year? It's baseball's all about numbers, right? If this guy can just fucking crank a double every time, he'd be money.
That would be fun.
Then you'd have
expect
to talk to his mom probably, which would be kind of weird because you'd have to show interest in his son, and then she would be like, "Oh, are you a college coach looking to recruit?" And then you're like, "No, I'm actually just a man in his mid to late 20s."
Right.
That probably wouldn't go too well. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I beg to differ, sir. I think it's all the way you approach it.
Interesting. How would you approach this one? Okay, so let's take it. So I'm the mom, and you want to recruit my son to your beer league softball team.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Is that yours are number 16?
Oh yeah. This is my pride and joy. Jimmy. Yeah, he is. Which one's yours?
No, I'm just spectating.
You're just spectating. No, like, do you have a nephew playing on this team or?
Well, to be honest, I'm looking for talent.
You're looking for. I'm sorry. Looking for talent, as in what exactly?
Well, listen. Hear me out here.
Oh, okay. Just 1 sec. There's just Jimmy's up to bat. Okay.
Oh, I'm watching. Your kid's got to swing.
Yeah.
Your kid's got to swing.
He's not going to swing on a 3-1 pitch. He's going to let that come in the strike zone. I really appreciate. I'm
Strike.
Okay, you got him, babe. You got him. My Jimmy's going to state. I'm sorry. So sorry. You again. You're a coach of a team. Sorry. Who are you?
I'm an influencer. Okay. I run a weekly podcast about softball, baseball. Okay.
Oh yes, I'm sure it's one of those very self-fulfilling podcasts were made by you and a couple other cis white men talking about their interests and really just forcing people to listen to them. Is it one of those kind of shows?
We have a wide audience.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure you guys
audience.
Just are scrounging for sponsors at this point, and making up as many segments as you can because nobody can think of anything like actually original to say at all. Is it one of those shows? I just want to make sure I get it right.
I don't like putting labels on things. Okay, that's why I don't call myself the CEO of the company, even though I might be. Who knows? I don't put labels on things. Anyway, I'm kind of a big deal in the area. And I think your kid, I think he's better than these kids.
Well, yeah, that's the hope. You should see his on base percentage this year.
I've seen it. I haven't missed a game.
We've seen all of my son's games.
Yeah. You haven't noticed me in the back?
Sorry, you still haven't told me who you are.
It doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's about
this particular situation.
Jimmy.
It does.
All right.
Okay, now, ladies.
There we are. Here we are. And hey, Mike.
My Jimmy loves his whoop. There it is, batting song. He loves to walk up to that song.
You're right. It's a little tougher when you're playing the most conservative mom ever. Most moms, when they see me, are super down to just let me have their kids for a while.
Well, excuse me, sir, but I don't work that way.
I don't know what to tell you, big fella. Okay, it'd be a little trickier than I thought.
You see, I want to see what I'm saying. I mean, even though I am not a mother, I have very, very, very few maternal, if any, maternal instincts, and I feel like I put up a decent fight.
I would think so.
And I feel like somebody who's an actual parent would put up even just a slightly more of a fight than me would be enough.
Well, anyway, I'm playing in a league. I'm gonna tear it up, and soon enough, this will be a full softball podcast where we talk about nothing else but my performance in the game. So
I'm looking forward to it.
folks.
I'm looking forward to come out to a couple games, and maybe that's where we start calling the games. This podcast kind of becomes like a half 2-season pod, half me calling your baseball games, and maybe some friends can show up, and it kind of I have a rotating roster of guests.
That could work.
I think that could work. Cam, you certainly have enough friends for me
imagine,
to schedule an entire season of that.
I can imagine you just sitting yelling in the back like, "You stink!" Boo!
No, if I'm calling a game, I'm as impartial as a peach. The fruit famously known for its impartiality.
Right, classic peaches.
Classic peach. That's why the expression classic peaches.
How's your week been, big guy?
Week's been good. Week has been fun. Spent some time back in Newmarket. Got to play some drums, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that must have been great,
Don't get to do that too often. And there was a beautiful day the other day, so Matt and I decided to pick up the old tennis rackets and head on down to the local park, where we arrived to only realize that the tennis cages are locked. Presumably for the winter months, but the hard worker that I am and we are, that didn't stop us. No, we climbed that puppy. I'd say it was a good 15er.
50
15 feet.
50
maybe.
feet in the air. Wow, 50 feet in the air. You're incredible.
I climbed about 50 feet, scaled it free solo like. It's my back is insanely shredded. For folks at home who don't know, again, Cam is about 4'10" with about like 315 pounds. I think this is about like something, a number we come up before. Myself, Cameron Osborne, I am 6'4", about 190, very lean muscle, of course. So I was able to just scale the facade of that fence almost effortlessly.
I'm not surprised.
It was a beautiful day. Of course,
how's your performance in the courts, though?
My both of our performances were marred with the lack of net. Of course, I think at that point we also realized that the city of Toronto removes the nets probably for the winter, which is a good call.
So there wasn't even nets?
There was no nets, and the fence was locked, which was nice because we got to spend time solo, because usually there's people playing at the courts beside you.
Wait, but if there was no nets, how'd you play?
You kind of know if your shot would have been under or over, or, I mean, you're out there for the first time. You're just trying to remember how to hit the ball, right? We're trying to get
your feet under you.
Trying to get our feet and our rackets
trying to get the
us.
rackets under you.
Exactly, but it was a great day, and I'm looking forward to more of those days soon. Unfortunately, the park, like, they don't open the tennis courts until the end of March, I think I saw, or maybe beginning of April. But that doesn't matter. We have proven that we can climb that 50-foot fence, and by gone it, we'll probably do it again.
That's sick. Congrats, big guy. I'm glad to hear you getting out there, getting active. Spring's a great time to get that feel of the sun in your neck again.
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. I recently also brought up my golf clubs here, so I'm ready for full.
I'll take you out to Waterloo. Let's hit the links.
That'd be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. I like golfing. I don't get frustrated a lot in golfing. I'm very much like okay, let's just keep going, which is nice.
Yeah, I'd love to go golfing with you.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Bring two or three. This is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light's in the with us for sure.
Yes, of course. This episode of 2 C's in a Pod Golf Edition is
golf? Just sports. It's just overall sports edition.
It's brought to you by what?
It's the sports podcast about sports outside of the top 4 sports.
That's a good point. Nobody's ever talking about highlight.
Curling. They're not talking about curling. They're not talking about cricket. They're not talking about slow pitch softball. They're not talking about tennis. And I think
tennis is pretty close though.
It's not in the top 5. Right?
It's a good point.
This is the 6 to 100 sport podcast.
Yeah, all the other ones. You got a sport out there. What is it? Let us know. 2seasonapod at gmail.com. Cam, let's keep moving on with the show because we're about halfway through the show here, and by God, we haven't even played a single game yet.
Yeah.
Unlike us, uncharacteristic. So let's kick off with our first little fun here with our little segment called Free on Kijiji. A-I-J-I-J-I-K I-J-I-J-I-K K-I-J-I-J-I-K Free on Kijiji. Perfect. Okay, folks. There's a lot of free shit there on the internet, which this is canon. We've expanded it. Internet wide, if it's free out there, not Kijiji specific. I was scrolling through a lot of those emails that we got. A lot of people were upset that I went to Craigslist last week. I'm not ashamed of what I did, and I don't care if you gave us 1 star. That's tough titty.
So where'd you go this time, though?
Back to the same place. Cam, how about you start?
Okay.
I'm standing here in the elevator, and I'm just trying to get to work. Okay, here we go.
Hey there, big fella. You look kind of...
Thanks.
you look kind of lonely.
You know what? Yeah, things haven't been too. Things have been a little bit tough lately. I'm going through some things with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
My parents live out of town. It's just it's been a little. Why was I standing slumped or am I? Okay.
I just see it in someone's eyes, when I see that there's someone that has a bleeding heart and they care about others, but I can see it in their eyes sometimes.
Wow. Are you I'm sorry, sir. We've never met before. Are you a soothsayer of sorts?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. We'll move on from that one then, sir. What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Well, you know what? Listen, I just thought that maybe you could use a companion, someone that needs maybe not a companion that's a person or an animal, but an armless lobster.
I could use you would like me to eat a lobster? Is that what's happening?
No, it's alive. It's an alive armless lobster that I can give to you for free. It's in Mississauga.
Oh, I didn't know that lobsters had arms. Is that dumb to say? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, this one doesn't.
No.
No, it's armless lobster free by the member Hey. Member he has 33 ads, but he responds real quick.
That's great. Cam. We started the show and we forgot to put our own free thing on Kijiji. Cam, my question. I'm sure all the folks at home want to follow up. Last week we sold the car polisher. Which we also kind of determined wasn't not necessarily exclusively for polishing cars. There is a chance that you could probably polish other stuff. We're not entirely sure. We didn't really try that out. Cam, what was the result?
Again, just left it on the doorstep. Actually, you know what? There was like a few people that got after me for it, and I just committed to the person who just communicated the easiest with me. I think that was the first person, and I just said, I think I told the guy, I'm going to leave it on my doorstep at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, and you can come pick it up anytime after that. But then I got very drunk that night, and I woke up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up to a message like, can I come grab it now? And I'm like, oh.
Classic Cam, getting a little too tipsy-topsy.
I don't think he came at 8:30 though, because I was up at the time he messaged me and asked me like, can I come grab it now? He might have come at 8:30 and be like, this fucking idiot.
This drunk asshole. Fucking with everything.
Yeah. So yeah, the next thing to go up is those speakers. Desktop speakers. If you have a desk or a top. Either or.
Listeners of the show, do you have a top or a desk? Are you looking to spice up that top desk of yours? Well, Cam's got the best thing for it. It's a couple speakers. You know speakers. It's those things that are on the bottom of your phone beside where you plug it in. Speakers. Get them from 2 Seasons a Pod. They're free.
Yeah, check out my Kijiji profile. One time I bought something on Kijiji. And I went to go pick it up, and then I got out of the car, and the guy's like, I thought you were a girl. And I was like,
that's funny.
Great. And I changed my picture after that.
Oh, judging by your photo, he thought you were a woman.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, was it a particularly effeminate-looking photo?
I kind of looked at it after. I'm like, it wasn't the clearest photo, and yeah, I'm like,
so to be fair, like in his defense, you were wearing a crop top and a skirt. I remember you were wearing and those little.
It said Hillary 2016 on it.
Exactly, and you had those little flip flops that they kind of look like a thong going through your toe there. You know those.
Those are just called thongs.
They're just called thongs or thong.
Yeah, they're called thong
flops?
sandals.
Thong sandals.
I think they're called thong sandals. Yeah.
You know the ones that you see at Old Navy that nobody's buying, but I guess they're still making them because there's always new colors with the season, which I always find weird. Cam, one more thing though, live lobsters, you can get them one time as a very, very, very funny joke at a Christmas party. My dad like, you know the game, you know, like the Christmas gift exchange game, you know, you put all the gifts under the tree and then somebody picks it and then they can steal or pick another, you know, a classic game. We all call it a bunch of different things.
Yeah, Yankee Swap. Yeah, we all know what we're saying.
Sad Christmas, whatever you want to call it. One time my dad put a live lobster in a box and wrapped it up, and the reaction on the elderly woman's face when she opened up the box was priceless.
Did she die after?
Very much alive, and very much alive to this day. My aunt Linda, she was a good sport about it, and it was true. My dad, like before, on the way to the Osborne family Christmas, the man picked up a lobster.
What did they do with it after?
Well, that was the thing. It was like you have a lobster, you can cook the lobster. That was kind of like the point of the gift. But I don't remember who got it. But I'm gonna say it got eaten.
Good. Well, that's great.
I do remember there was a point of contention amongst the parents of the very little children. Or there was kind of like Uncle Paul. Why'd you have to no? Now I gotta show my kids this fucking lobster and I have to explain this whole thing.
Right. You're like, death is a part of life, and it's definitely a part of a lobster's life.
Yeah, it is. Anyways,
was it in water? Just a final question on that. Was it in water?
No, it was in a box, but don't worry, everyone. Like, it's chill. I think what happened was, like, my uncle, so it was at my uncle's house, and my uncle was also in on it. So we were able to keep it in a clean, refreshing, wet area until right before the gift exchange, and then the box was brought right over. So, I think it's fine.
Good.
It's all good, guys. Don't worry.
Glad it all worked out.
Don't worry, you PETA folks at home, or PETA, however you want to call it, however you want to say it.
Pedophiles, whatever.
Pedos, if you're out there, reach out. 2 Season a Pod, where are you living? Because I don't want to live there. If you're a pedophile, please reach out to the show. Thank you. Cam, we're back here. 2 Season a Pod. We're playing some free on Kijiji. Cam, are you ready? Are you ready to step in the elevator, as it were?
The ding.
Oh shit, Brad! It's so nice to see you again after your long summer vacation.
It's Chad.
Oh, sorry. Had?
Yeah. What do you want?
I just want to say, dude, how was your trip to the rainforest?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Definitely got some good Amazonian pussy, so I'm pretty stoked on that.
That pussy is so cool. I mean, you were so stoked on it, I know, because like you love trees so much, and it must have been so nice to go to really where trees are from.
Smoking trees, am I right, fellas?
You were just smoking trees all the time, fellas. I think it's actually just you and I here in this elevator right now. I don't think
I'm doing this live on Twitch.
Oh, you're twitching. Oh, that's who you are. Sorry. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know that you have that badass tree collection at home. You're always putting it on Facebook. You're always putting it on Instagram. You have that Snapchat account that's just at tree porn.
Love it, yeah. Big botanist.
Yeah, you're a huge botanist, arborist, and I just want to say that, like, I just want to do whatever I can to help your collection. I have some tree stumps if you want them. I actually have 3 tree stumps. Yeah, they're just sitting in my backyard right here. They just need, if maybe we can spend the afternoon cutting them out, removing them. Maybe we can get a beer, and I don't know. The stumps are yours.
Damn, that's a find. Yeah, I'll take them. Fuck. Are they good enough to like sit on by a fire?
Oh, you could sit on them by a fire. You know all that the pussy you were talking about earlier? Yeah, you can pussy on them too. It'd be so much fun.
Damn. Yeah, that's actually not bad. I think we actually came up with some good finds this week. I mean, free armless lobster. Gotta love it. And then and then the stumps.
A couple stumps, so it's like it's the photos. If you're anywhere near Muncie, Indiana, feel free to find some free tree stumps. It just kind of looks like like it was a huge tree that was clearly rotted, and then they've, so it's kind of like 4 feet out of the ground. But
they're not removed.
No, I know that was part of my pitch. Remember, you come over, we can remove them and.
Oh, I thought you were gonna like carve them up. Oh fuck.
No.
Yeah, that's such a pain in the ass removing stumps.
That was part of the pitch, but it looks like a cool spot. The way it's positioned in this person's backyard, it looks like a great spot that like you could chop wood on it. It could just be like your forever. wood chopper.
block,
So
yeah.
I don't know. They live at Parker Road and Jensen Drive, down there in Muncie. So
Damn.
who the heck knows?
That's wild. Well, those are some great finds. I think sometimes we just get like absolutely bizarre finds that are like kind of gross, but then sometimes we find just like absolute gems, and I think that's what I like about this week.
Well, Cam, I don't think it's not about. For me, it's never about the product that I'm finding. It's about how we sell it, and that's part of the fun that I like, especially.
I
about
guess,
this
maybe I should get better at that.
About this little, about this. I
like finding just such bizarre items that you're like, why is someone giving this away?
And Cam, that's the chemistry that the listeners at home love, because you love finding deals, and I love cracking wise about the deals because you're listening to 2 Season a Pod. My name's Cameron Osborne.
Hey, my name's Cameron Leclerc.
There you have it. This
week I'm interviewing
on the dial.
Right. Don't turn away, because next up I'm coming up with an interview with the one and only host of 2 Season a Pod, Cam Osborne. Advertisement. Hey, big guy, you looking to smoke a cigarette? Because I got a good one for you.
I want to smoke a cigarette, but I don't know. Will it make me look cool?
You'd make it look super cool, but only if you have this specific brand.
Oh, okay. I love your... I'll try one of your specific brand.
Smoke Next Blue.
Next Blue.
Next Blue. Have the blues. Take a Next Blue. Hey, and we're back on the podcast here.
Wow, we're back. That was so quick. Hope you enjoyed that word from our sponsor. Of course, weather and traffic is coming up later on the hour on the 10.
And it turns out there's no traffic and no weather, so we're back to the interview.
Weather stopped. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's show. What happened to the weather? A special expose by Cameron Osborne and Cam Leclerc. You're listening to 2 Season a Pod.
96.7. Now, next we get into our next segment, headline. Sorry, Ohio or no Ohio. Hey. Headline or asinine?
Of course, high or no Ohio. What the hell does that mean, folks? Of course, Cam's talking about our favorite game here on the 2 Season Pop Podcast. We're talking headline or asinine. Ohio or no Ohio, of course. Cam, why don't you, for the folks at home who don't know how the game is played, Cam and I have a few headlines for each other. Well, they may be headlines, but they may not be real headlines, and it's up to us to figure out which one's which.
So if you've never played it, he literally just explained it, and there's no better way to explain it than what he just said.
I like to explain what because we got to pretend like every show is somebody's first show, right? Because every show is going to be somebody's first show.
You'd hope so.
That's why we need to introduce. Right. Well, even if you start listening to the podcast but not concurrently, we're on episode 14 but you go back to episode 6, that's still your episode 1. Mm-hmm. That's why we introduced the show, and my name's Cameron Osborne.
My name's Cameron Leclerc, and
you're listening to 2 Season a Pod. Which is what we want to do. Cam, I'm going to kick off. I have your first headline here for you. Ready for it?
Ready for it.
Okay, Cam, here we go. UK woman jailed for trying to open plane door mid-flight.
UK woman jailed. See, if you haven't noticed, folks, if this is your first episode, I often repeat things because I'm not a good listener.
It's not that you're not a good listener, Cam. It's that you don't hear. I think you're not a good hearer. I think you are a great listener and a great communicator. I just think you're not that good at hearing.
Now, do I think she would have tried opening a plane door while it's flying? I've heard some people do some pretty crazy things on planes, so I'm just going to paint the picture of what I thought happened.
Please do. That's often what we do here on 2 Season a Pod.
2 Season a Pod. Headline or asinine. I'm interviewing here Cam Osborne, special segment.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, everybody? So here's what I think happened. I don't think the plane took off yet. I think they got out of there, and she had a full-on panic attack. It was like, I'm not flying on this plane. She got convinced, and they were like, take this edible, you'll be fine. You'll be relaxed on the plane. And she just friggin' lost her mind. She's like, I get off this plane. They're like, we're not letting you off this plane. And then she tried to open the door, and then there's like, you dumb piece of human trash. The door's obviously locked. And then they stop the plane, like, we're letting you off this plane, but we're putting you in a cell. So that's my theory.
So, Cam, I think the question posed, headline or asinine?
Oh, right, headline. Right. Sometimes, folks, we forget how we play the games.
And often I don't. Cam, that one's a headline for you. You're right and wrong. Of course, so this woman, she's only 26, was on a flight from London to Turkey. Where at like maximum altitude or just like they were not in the midst of their climb or descent or whatever. They were up there. She just jets for the door, starting to open it. Earlier in the day, she had a mix of drugs and alcohol in her system, but she was screaming, I want to die. She was screaming, I want to kill you all. And passengers around had to restrain her for the rest of the flight before they were able to get or before like they were actually able to like hold her back, and then they had to make an emergency landing, of course, as you do with something like that. The airline fined her $110,000.
Damn, that's expensive.
But she was also subsequently arrested as soon as she touched down. But yes, there was a mix of alcohol and narcotics in her system. Didn't specify as to which,
right.
But yeah.
What if she was actually just singing "I Want to Rock"? Rock.
Yes, she's a big Twisted Sister fan. Of course.
And someone confused that.
It's a very similar story, for you sports fans at home, the story that Wade Boggs drank like 52 beers on a flight from like Philadelphia to Los Angeles, and then he went like 3 for 5 with 2 home runs the next day. There is this infamous story. There's also a similarly infamous story with Dee Snider, the lead singer of Twisted Sister, who on a flight from London to Turkey was actually able to consume 14 gallons of his own piss before opening the door to a plane and landing to safety with the power of rock and roll. This woman was probably just trying to do that. That's my guess.
I want to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Rock. Headline or asinine. Blind man fails citizenship test after being denied Braille.
Okay. Being denied Braille. Now, this is tough, right? Because at what point in your life do you go blind? That's the tough part, right? If you've been Ray Charles, right, where you've been blind virtually your entire life, you have so much time to learn Braille. You can pick it up. But as the saying goes, you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Right.
What happens when you're, due to like cataracts or some other, something else unfortunate happening? What if I lost my sight? Fuck it. I'm done. I'm not going to learn Braille. I'm 28 years old. Doesn't that probably takes like 28 years to learn? I'm way behind the curve already.
Yeah, learning's tough.
If I was there, if you're there for that citizenship test, I would, I would just kind of take a wild guess. You could be right. Who knows? It could only be a certain amount of things. My biggest question is why no one could just ask them the question, presumably, and then present the answers to them.
That's a great question, yeah.
The Braille option seems weird. On a few separate occasions, I wrote answers for students taking theory tests for the Royal Conservatory of Music, because you can have not like a chaperone's not the right word. It's like a scribe, because if somebody, everyone's sort of different on, where they are on the spectrum of learning, and some people aren't good at communicating that, right? But if I can say a question, somebody might understand and answer a bit better. Shame on this country for not offering these services. This is a country, goddammit. This is a first world country that we're talking about here.
You don't know any of that information, yeah.
I know most of that information because that is asinine.
That's a headline, big guy. So he was trying to. He moved from the U.S. to Mexico 6 years ago. Oh, so it looks like he was trying to move back into Illinois, and he was given his U.S. citizenship test. And they were like, "We'll give you really big words." He's like, "I still can't read them." They're like, "Prove that you're not blind, or prove that you're blind." He's like, "I don't have health insurance here." So they're like, "All right, then we can't provide you a test." And he's like, "Seems like I'm a little bit of a catch-22 here." And then obviously came into the news, and then some people from the U.S. Immigration Service are like, we're gonna get some new Braille tests for you. Obviously, I'm surprised that you came up with an idea that no one else did.
I don't think. Well, somebody else came up with it because because I was only doing it because that opportunity was there, and that's just one particular case. But yeah, as accessibility grows, like that's totally something that like in my particular case, I would I would say the answer to her and the question and the question and then the answer, in the multiple choice or those type of scenarios, and then she would tell me which one to circle.
Yeah, that's
like she would. I'd
good on
read her
you.
The question,
Good on you.
Read her the answers, and then she goes circle B, and then. Or I think there was one, it was sheet music, so she's like draw a quarter note, and then I would draw a quarter note, and then she's like draw another quarter note, and then you kind of you figure that out.
I love it. I love how you've given back to the community, Cam. That's one of my favorite aspects of you.
Yeah, great, and she's and they've gone on to do many theory tests since then, even without me. So there you go. Okay, Cam, are you ready for your next headline?
Let's hit it.
Okay, let's kick it off. Cam, here we go. New York man sentenced to 10 years in prison after claiming in court that men can't give STDs.
New York man sentenced to prison because...
After claiming in court that men can't give STDs.
Claiming in court. I think my confusion here is like, how do you stand up in front of them and be like, there's been no scientific evidence that men can give STDs to women, and people being like, I think you're wrong about that. He's like, show me the facts. They're like, there's many facts. He's like, I don't see them in front of me right now. So that's the part where I'm a little confused by. Now, I'm just so confused how you could say that. I really can't find like a little loophole around that where you could say that. Maybe him saying something along the lines of like, well, men don't cheat, so they can't give STIs. I'm going to call asinine.
How come you said STIs? Cam, that's asinine.
Yes.
You know what? You're thinking about it too literally, Cam. This question was inspired when I was at home watching an episode of Maury. The man claimed to not be the father because they only had sex when she was on top. This man claimed that he couldn't be his because you can't have a baby when she is on top.
Well, that's facts.
That's facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, men can give women STDs and vice versa. Go to your local sexual health clinic. And remember, folks, it only takes 4 pills to cure chlamydia.
Right.
It's the easiest one. If kids at home, if you're gonna be going raw dog, which let's be honest, you probably are, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like at
least
try to get chlamydia because it's so easy to get rid of.
If a girl tells you I have the clap and you don't have a condom, you'd be like, whatever. Like, whatever.
That's fine. Just go, because then you go, okay, so here's what's going to happen, folks. You're going to go to the sexual health clinic the next morning. You take a little number. Yeah, you're going to have to wait there for an hour. Put on a podcast. Put an episode of 2 Seasons of Pod. Maybe the live episode. Cam tells a funny story about his big nut. Sure. And then all you're going to do is fill out the sheet. And what you're going to write on the sheet, and the sheet's going to ask you, have you recently had unprotected sex with somebody who knows they have an STD? You click yes. They give you the fucking pills and it's gone. Like, I can't stress this enough. Herpes is around there for life. Crabs, you need a little shampoo and a little comb. AIDS, don't even get me started about AIDS.
It's a tough one.
This episode of Tuesday Pod brought to you by Chlamydia. Cam,
the clap.
The clap.
Hi-o
the sound that's right for you.
Hi-o or no hi-o, parents allow 11-year-old to drive a car because they were sick of him playing GTA all day.
What was the youngest you drove a car? I was probably like 14.
I was probably close to like 14, yeah, around that age.
You might have been a bit younger. The first time I drove a car, I think I was commenting on my stepdad's driving. At like one point, and I was like, "Oh, Korea," or I said something, and then he, I guess he was just kind of fed up. He pulls over to a completely empty parking lot. It was like a bus station parking lot. It was completely empty, and he gets out of the car, and the whole time he's like, "Kate, you drive," and I'm like, "No," and I got like so nervous right off the bat. But I drove around the parking lot. I crushed it, hopped out of the car. It was fine. But if you're in a rural type of place, right, where it's kind of like maybe you're around a farm.
Yeah,
maybe you have a lot of land, you have a beater car, like, just you give your 11, the area's fenced in, it's all dirt. You're just like, hey, kid, fucking drive around. Like, shut up. This game is melting your brain. Maybe this was a great parenting move on their parents' part, right? Like, you want to get your kid away from the PlayStation playing basketball. Go get him a pair of Nikes. Say, hey, kid, fucking get outside. You want your kid to stop playing Call of Duty? Boom, sign him up for the fucking army. Get this kid out of the house. He's a fat, lazy piece of shit anyways. That's a headline.
That's a headline, yeah. So, it says most of it, but there is to know that he was driving in a parking lot, just like they say, and the police pulled him over.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you're not really doing any damage.
He's just a kid. He's just having fun. Okay, wait. Was the parent? Was the parent in the car with him?
Yeah. So,
okay, well that's better. It's not like they were like gave the 11-year-old the fucking keys and they're like, be back by 10.
Yeah, the story's more about like how they think GTA is bad for you, but they're like, you know what, get over yourself. Anyway, I did want that reminds me of a funny story when I was young, getting a car. Do we have the same water bottle?
Do we?
Do you have a mech? Do you have a similar one?
No, I have the Nalgene.
Oh, okay.
Yo, but get this. Sponsored the podcast, mech, maybe.
Yeah.
So the Nalgene is indestructible. Folks at home, if you know water, you know that Nalgene is known for their indestructible products, right? Of course, you have this thing, can't fucking do it. The lid is super reliable plastic, but the band that holds the lid to the fucking cap is nothing. So now I have a huge ass water bottle with a cap. The cap's going everywhere. The cap's flinging on the ground. I'm dropping it all the time. It sucks.
Damn.
This episode of the podcast is not sponsored by Nalgene.
Yeah, it's specifically sponsored by Mech.
Specifically sponsored by not Nalgene. The strongest water cap. Wait, but where's your water cap? Where's your cap?
Mine's attached.
Okay, it is attached still? Oh, thank Christ. Because you can buy a new Nalgene bottle. Hell, you can even buy a new cap. You can't buy a new fucking plastic tie.
Probably
You're
not.
listening to 2 C's in a Pod. That was the angriest I'll probably ever get. Cam, I have one more headline here for you.
I want to tell you a story.
Oh, okay.
It was about driving when I was a young kid. So, I grew up on country roads as well, so I drove a few times.
Yes, the country road that
roads.
you were taken home to.
Take me home, country road,
and you
West
lived
Virginia.
in West Virginia,
place,
right?
Yeah,
I thought
place
so.
where I
thought
know.
so.
Yeah.
Little known fact: Cam is a short American. He's a short, fat American, staying true to his people. My name's Cameron Osborne. You're listening to 2 C's in a Pod.
So my dad's plan, because he was picking up a car from the shop, which was probably like 4K from our house, and he kept asking me, he's like, "You sure you've driven before?" I'm like, "Yeah, definitely have driven before." He's like,
"Where else would you have driven if not with your father?"
Mom.
Okay. That
Right?
seems like it seems like a father-son thing though. Like,
He was saying like he wasn't being specific. I kept saying like he kept saying you've driven before, and he thought I meant like alone. I'm like, yeah, I've driven, but he implied like alone, and he was like, "Are you sure about this?" I'm like, "Yeah, 100%." So then we go to the car shop to pick up his cars in the shop, and then he's like, "Okay, you drive behind me. If a cop comes and wants to pull you over, I'm gonna floor on the gas and just go ahead." And then
like distract him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I love that idea. That's fantastic.
So your father's going first. Ange Vin Diesel Leclerc, and his little Paul Walker's behind him.
Damn. Yeah,
No,
so
that's not what's happening. That was
that's
you. That was my.
yeah, that's
was
exactly what
I was gonna
happened.
do.
Yeah,
For those folks at home, Cam received a notification somewhere, and as we've described about his hearing, the
Not good.
listening is great. The hearing is not.
yeah. So, so yeah, that's that. So that's my quick story. But I want to hear your headline.
Yeah, because we still have one more round of this game. Cam, here we go. A 10-year-old boy was accidentally shot by his babysitter while she was taking selfies with a gun.
10-year-old boy was accidentally shot by his babysitter. 10-year-old boy was while he was taking selfies with a gun. 10-year-old boy was. America's pretty weird these days. Wait, 10-year-old boy was shot by his babysitter.
Accidentally shot by his babysitter.
Do I think this is possible? I think it's a sad story for sure. I also think that I'm just trying to think like how they would do it. Like, yeah, no, I could definitely see it happening now. You got some kid who just wants to. Like, who doesn't want to take a selfie with a gun? Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. What are like the three coolest things in the world? Smoking, guns, and like motorcycles or something. Drugs.
Yeah,
Drugs are pretty cool.
So yeah, like, could I see that happening? Yeah, if you want to take a picture with it and then just be like, boop, 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 pang, and then it's game over after that. So yeah, I'm gonna call headline.
Cam, you're calling a headline, and you are right. Of course, this happened earlier on in the month in Texas, in Houston, in an apartment in Houston, where a 10-year-old boy was accidentally shot by his family member, who was the babysitter. She was taking photos, and she thought the weapon was unloaded. Starts taking a couple photos, just trying to be hard, a couple little like brap, brap, brap. And then the gun goes off, of course, hitting the boy in the stomach. He went to hospital in critical condition, underwent surgery, and he is alive now. So he's fine. He's alive right now. We're looking at you, little 10-year-old boy, though. Of course, though, preventable gun deaths make up of 1% of overall gun deaths in the United States. And that's too many, or not enough. I can't quite tell. Because I feel like the people who are getting killed accidentally by gun, like in those preventable, like in that type of situation, you always hear it when it happens to like a baby. Like, it's really sad.
Right.
But we are still kind of weaning people off, right? Like, if you're a parent and you're dumb enough to accidentally shoot your child, I think you don't deserve the child in the first place. Call me crazy.
Call me crazy. I don't think you're wrong.
And you're listening to 2 Seasons of Pod. That is the most controversial that I will ever get. My name is Cameron Osborne.
Ohio or Ohio, 8-year-old wins $200 worth of cannabis products at youth hockey tournament.
Of cannabis products, how young was he?
8-year-old.
8-year-old winning a couple $100 of cannabis products at a hockey tournament?
Yeah.
This is great. Anyone can put their name in that raffle. When you're a kid and you go to a raffle and there'd be a CD that you want, maybe a hip-hop CD, maybe, I don't know, let's say Get Rich or Die Tryin', and you're at a charity golf event and you see that you can put some tickets in to win this little bundle of CDs that includes Get Rich or Die Tryin', and you think to yourself, fuck, like, my mom won't buy that for me. I can't go to HMV myself and buy it. But I want Get Rich or Die Tryin'. So you put your little ticket in there thinking that what happens, right? Would it be a steal? Would they even give it to me? Surely your mom's going to ask, hey, what did you win at the raffle, honey? You're going to have to show her that Get Rich or Die Tryin' CD, and she's going to take one look at 50 Cent's rock hard abs and throw that CD right out the moving car window. While that story was almost totally true, these things can happen, right? A fucking 8-year-old, he knows what weed is. 8-year-olds definitely know what pot is. They're already doing meth and banging each other by senior kindergarten. So the kid's gonna win. Did the kid, would he have been given it? Would somebody have realized? Or maybe this huge thought, Cam, just came in my head. What if they're trying to Little Rascals it? So him, a little 8-year-old, and his little buddy, they got on each other's shoulders. They put a big, long trench coat over top of them, and then they pretend to be like an adult. They get the weed, and then it turns out they're just two little 8-year-old boys. That's exactly what happened. They got little rascaled. That's a headline.
That's a headline.
Yeah, because they little rascaled, right? They got on each other's shoulders. They put a little trench coat.
No, exactly. No, you're
Damn
pretty
it.
close. You're pretty
Damn it.
close.
I
No,
wanted
but it's
to.
actually just a boys' hockey tournament. There was like a little like raffle type thing, so you're right on that. Where you just put tickets into whatever bag you want, and then after that, you know, he picked one that thought he had a bunch of chocolates in it, but those chocolates are actually all cannabis chocolates. So yeah, he got. So yeah, yeah, so that's what happened. There's obviously questions about it, whether they should have been offered there, but it's a real story.
I love that, Cam. I would have loved. One of my biggest regrets from childhood is not doing a Little Rascals and getting on my friend's shoulders to go see an R-rated movie. I think that would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been a good time.
That would have been a lot of fun. Go see Fight Club with your friend, getting on each other's shoulders. Maybe there could be a fake mustache involved. One of those like Humphrey Bogart hats, you know, like the super big brimmed. Let us know if you got that reference, folks. Humphrey Bogart. Search it up. My name's Cameron Osborne. This is 2 Seasons of Pod.
Well, I think that concludes our weekly episode.
That's another episode for another week.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what, folks? Thanks for listening to the podcast. Remember to rate, review, like, and subscribe. The podcast is everywhere. You know, it's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's on YouTube, of course. But you know, don't tell Cam's dad, because apparently the titles of the episodes are too revealing.
Too blue. They're too blue. Can't accept it.
Too blue. Of course, we have no control of that. We send that information off to corporate, and then Bill over there at corporate, he decides, is that his name? Yeah, that's his name. He decides what to be done.
All right. Well, thanks all for tuning in, and we will catch up with you next week.
We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for listening. Cams.